I'm Alex with Storyline Travel, and today I'm at the port of entry to Epcot's World Showcase. We're going to walk around the world during Epcot's Food and Wine Festival. Stick with us as we walk around and check things out today. We're going to head towards the Mexico Pavilion. The first booth we come to, Food and Wine Festival, is Hawaii. Some nice taste from the islands. A little crowded here in the Food and Wine Festival. It's one of the ports of entry. Shops, good place to go buy a souvenir here in Epcot. Take this time that reminds you to subscribe and turn on the notifications so that when we post things like a walk around the World Showcase, you get a chance to be the first to know what's going on. I do hope you like this. If you know anybody that's planning on taking a trip or would just otherwise benefit from our videos, please share it with them. I appreciate that. All right. We walk around the World Showcase, show y'all some of the different booths. Swanky Saucy Swine, just here for the Food and Wine Festival. And then they have these market shops where you can get Food and Wine Festival merchandise while you spend your time here. Mexico booth set up. You can grab a little sampling without having to go and go to the full menu or sit down in a restaurant. Getting a reservation. It's the Mayan temple that's a symbol of the Mexican pavilion.
Cover your mouth and nose when coughing or sneezing. Thank you for your cooperation.
And if you do want to sit down and eat in Mexico, they have some fine outdoor dining here at La Cantina. Of course, the Mexico Pavilion does have a ride, the Grand Fiesta Tour, which is an indoor little water boat ride, the Three Caballeros. Now, in the evening, you can make reservations for La Hacienda de Sanjal. Excellent Mexican food we've eaten here. What's really nice is you can get a table seated on the water. Really beautiful setting. All right, as we leave Mexico, we come to Norway. The architecture changes, the grass on the roof.
I'll head back to that.
One of the architectural details of Norway is the stave church. References to Odin and Thor, some of the gods referenced in Norway mythology. This pavilion is now home to the ride Frozen Ever After, which can have a mighty long wait time. Just be aware, if you want to, and that's a must-do ride, you may want to purchase the extra Lightning Lane Pass. I think today, when I'm filming this, November 16th, 2021, that was a $9 per person pass. Too rich for my blood, but then I'm not as big a Frozen fan as maybe my daughters are. And now, as we leave Norway, we get to China. Japanese architecture, very noticeable. Asian trends. You see the China Pavilion, where you can get some international food during the International Food and Wine Festival. Menu. Of course, they have their shops and gifts area. Little puppets, always neat. Sticking with the Asian theme, Food and Wine Festival, we do have the India Pavilion. Get you some true Indian food at the Food and Wine Festival. Going to the Outpost. Now, the interesting thing about the Outpost is it was once planned to be its own pavilion. Never was, and has just been an outpost for many years. Still rumors surface from time to time about adding in another country, making this area a pavilion. But as you can see right now, still just the Refreshment Outpost, with a nod towards African countries. Speaking of African countries, as we come around the corner here, we get to the Kenya Pavilion with food and beverages from that African nation. We have some more festival markets with food and wine merchandise, t-shirts, and a nod to Germany as we now cross into the Germany Pavilion. There's an Alps and Germany Pavilion for the Food and Wine Festival, where you can stop and get a quick bite, again without having to go make a reservation, sit down and eat. Germany's Pavilion is at a restaurant our family loves, which is the Biergarten. As with most sit-down restaurants in Walt Disney World, reservations are highly recommended, normally required by the time you show up. And if you like candy and caramel, and a nice caramel store, get a piece of candy. And then love the pretzel and drink stand. Really neat. You can see the essence of many of Germany's icons, the different lands as we walk past. And then a wonderful little shop for Germany's nod to German glass. So we're getting ready to leave Germany. We do see a pavilion here for Spain. A few Spanish dishes you can pick up. And yes, it is, tastes are different than Mexico. While the food is similar, it is definitely unique to each region. All right, now we are coming up on the Italian Pavilion. You'll see the Food and Wine Festival, they do have a Italy stand. Where you can get small bites. And then the Italy Pavilion itself. Italian street performer. And again, a nod to the many Italian regions. And what I've always found interesting is on the lake, is the nod to Venice. And it is one of the pavilions that takes full use of the area, both the water as well as the land side. And it looks like the gelateria, is closed today. It's open when you're here. Definitely want to try the gelato. Italian gelato is one of my favorites. It's very good. And now, directly across from the port of entry where we started is the American Adventure Pavilion. Great place to grab some barbecue, get some of the architecture from the beginning of our nation, 1700s. The unique thing about the American Pavilion is the American Gardens Theater. When shows are back in full force, this is the area where you'll find bands, different forms of entertainment for not just the food and wine, but also Flower and Garden Festival in the spring. What's really exciting is this is also the area where the candlelight processional will be performed for Christmas, and those are coming back. As you can see, the stagehands are actually working, getting ready to set that up. That's exciting news for those of us who hated to miss last year. So really looking forward to that coming back. And the American Adventure Pavilion is considered the host pavilion for all these other countries. One of the reasons that it is in the middle on the far side. All right, as we leave the American Adventure Pavilion, we're headed to Japan, in the Japanese Pavilion. Back nod towards Asia and the Japanese architecture, very beautiful.
I could not do like.
Another pavilion that takes good use and advantage of its waterside features and highlighting the architecture of Japan. And this is one of the shops that my family really enjoys. The Mitsubishi shop has many different retail offerings, especially from Japan. You can find a lot of unique gifts. So when you're in Japan, take a quick stop. And for International Food and Wine Festival, and it does have a little pop-up pavilion where you can go try some sample Japanese food.
Yeah, it was unimpressive.
All right, we are leaving Japan. We are headed to Morocco. Before we get there, we're going to stop by the Greece pop-up. Some Grecian food. Their blue colored kiosk. They are definitely associated with Greece, is that blue. Really nice. And then we get into Morocco. If you do like Mediterranean food, I highly recommend spending some time in Morocco. The Kingdom of Morocco actually provided the royal, I don't know if this is royal architect, but definitely someone from the Royal Kingdom to help design this pavilion. It has some very authentic touches. And their guidance, really beautiful architecture. And you will see some Moroccan tile all throughout the pavilion. definitely worth your time taking a look at this wonderful pavilion. And of course the food here, excellent. We really enjoy coming in, spending time eating here. And as we leave Morocco, we are headed to France. Right before you get to the French pavilion, we have a Brazil pop-up area. We're grabbing some bites, familiar and home to Brazilians. And now we arrive in France. Now, France has recently opened a new section in which they have an additional restaurant, creperie, both a walk-up and a sit-down restaurant, as well as the new Remy's Ratatouille Adventure attraction and ride. It's a very popular, probably because it's new area. They're using virtual queues, the only attraction in Epcot using virtual queues. And of course you can pay for Lightning Lane. It's our second Lightning Lane option in Epcot. And as of today, it's $9 per person. Again, November 16th, 2021. We did purchase that today, and we will be riding it later. So I will at least get you guys some pictures, maybe a little video of the queuing area. Not sure about the ride. We'll see how that works out if we can get that done. So stand by for those pictures. And as we leave the French pavilion, we're actually going to take a couple of bridges over the water and head towards England. Now this bridge goes over a waterway that connects the lake that the World Showcase surrounds with the waterway that is used to connect to the Epcot Deluxe Resorts, Boardwalk and Beach Club, Yacht Club, and the Swan and Dolphin. Also, as we go over this bridge, you'll be able to see the International Gateway and the Skyliner. That is the second entrance to Epcot, known to some as the back door to Epcot. Again, the International Gateway. And the International Gateway opens up this bridge between France and England. And so as we come down this bridge, we'll be coming into the England Pavilion. A yummy place to grab a snack here at the bottom of the bridge is the Yorkshire County Fish Shop. Get some fish and chips, a very British meal. I have heard from some of my British friends, though, that the fish and chips here are definitely Americanized, a bit too salty for their taste. And the Rose and Crown Pub is the sit-down location in England in reservations. Highly recommended, if not required, by the time you get here, to have a seat at the pub and enjoy the water view. It's like beautiful English architecture. Now for the Epcot International Food and Wine Festival, we have Ireland pop-up. You can get your fisherman's pie, and of course what Ireland's known for in drink is Guinness. So if you're inclined, this would be the place to get it. And as we leave the England Pavilion, we are headed to the Canadian Pavilion. Oh, Canada. Now, for reference, Canada is the last pavilion on our walk, permanent pavilion. And if you're paying attention and know that from the port of entry, our two closest neighbors are your two closest pavilions. Mexico on one side, Canada on the other. So either way you go from the port of entry, you're going to run into one of our neighbors. Now, one of the things I really enjoy about the Food and Wine Festival is that Canada has their own pop-up food booth where you can get their famous Canadian cheddar cheese soup. Oh, it is some of the best soup you will ever have. Highly recommend getting you a little cup if you're here at the International Food and Wine Festival. Otherwise, you'll have to book a reservation at Le Cellier to get that soup. That's what I love about International Food and Wine Festival. I don't need a reservation to get my favorite soup. As we leave Canada, we'll pass by the Belgium pop-up. This is where you can get you some Belgian waffles, of course. And the final food booth is Australia this year. There you go. And then, for those of you who really need your caffeine fix, right across from Australia, and the finish of our walking tour is, you guessed it, Starbucks. So I hope you enjoyed your walk around with us. We walked around the World Showcase today. Remind you once again, press subscribe. Hope you like this video, turn on those notifications. Do me a favor. Post below, what was your favorite pavilion? Let us know. And if you want to come during the International Food and Wine Festival, which one of these pop-up booths would you like to try? I think for me, I'm going to try the Belgian waffle with some Canadian cheddar cheese soup. Thanks for watching. In Storyline Travel, every adventure is a story waiting to be told.